Let's do something really risky today. Let's take on the topic communication across the genders. All right, this straight up is going to totally help you. All right, I know that there's a lot of people who have conflicts in relationships. It could be your marriage, it can be between your children, it can be people at work, siblings, friends, whatever. One of the things that will unequivocally help you is understanding, first and foremost, that brains are structured differently between men and women. All right, we're going to do a quick little anatomy tour and then we'll get into like the how-tos. All right, so just listen up. You got to know what you're dealing with before you can like just, throw down a solution. So here's what we know. All right, and be advised, as I make these things, I don't want any little eyeballs shooting across the room or just listen and be nice. Okay? All right. Here's what you need to know. Here's one of the biggest barriers to communication, all right, amongst the genders. And this is speaking not to exceptions. This is speaking to the rule, all right? And that's this. Structurally, the brain of a man is actually bigger, right, than that of a woman. We know that. It's generally proven like scientific fact. But when it comes to like the details of the brain operations, brains, you have like the right side and the left side, like structurally, like the cerebrum is like that. You actually have like this strip of material in the middle. Yeah, I'm totally talking about the nervous system. Nothing has changed, okay? Yeah. All right, the strip of tissue in the middle is called the corpus callosum. And through that structure, that's where a lot of the nerves pass, which connect the right to the left side of the brain. And they have like, it's like a super highway in there. Well, when you look at it, the corpus callosum, that interface between the right and left side, in men has less nerves flowing through it than women. It's like the women's is more highly developed. Now that doesn't mean it has nothing to do with intellectual capability. So it's not to say men are stupid and women are superior. That's not what it is. It just has to do with how information is processed and then ultimately how is it communicated, more so verbally than anything else. All right. So what we know about men, for sure, and this is a benefit, all right, that men generally are very linear in their thought process, right? There's like boxes for everything. There's a box for money and there's a box for love and there's a box for family. Like there's like boxes, and that to the one point is a benefit when you're dealing women with men, in that women's brains conversely is like this tangled up mess of stuff where we have like 20 different browser tabs opening at the same time and like we multitask, right? And the way that our brain is structured actually allows a woman to operate like that. It's insane, but somehow it works, right? Whereas the man's thought tends to be very linear and just like box-like, and there's a box for nothing. Okay, so when a man says that he's not thinking about anything, he is legit 100% being honest with you. There's a box for nothing in it. So ladies, you need to know that, and he's not lying. All right, here's the benefit, that when you are dealing with men and communication, that you can go to a man for, he becomes an anchor in a very, very good way, that he's able to provide a sense of strength and stability, because as women, we tend to be like butterflies on speed, right? And the men, when they make a decision, it tends to be very firm line in the sand, and that for us becomes a point of strength, because when women make a decision, more times than not, okay, and this is the rule, this is not the exception, that generally what happens is we allow our feelings to become involved, and we may make a decision, but then we feel bad, and so then we'll make an exception, or we will, back off on the decision that we make. So having the steadfast of a man actually works to the benefit. Conversely, your greatest strengths also become your greatest weaknesses. And we certainly know that there can be times, for whatever reason, and this is not meant as a disrespectful thing against men or against women for either phase, is that when you are very steadfast and determined and strong in your decision points, that can become a weakness, because many times it will cause you to dig heels far into the sand and either not look at different options, different ways of doing things, and that also includes how you communicate. Whereas a woman, because we tend to be more like something with wings, like, a butterfly or a bird, like we tend to be able to flit about and see different things from a different vantage point, that the man typically then, once there's trust in the relationship, typically will then go to the woman for her perspective, simply because she looks at things from a much different place than from a man. And again, this has nothing to do with intellect. This has nothing to do with visionary capabilities or being able to, look at things vertically or horizontally. That's basically like the structure of the brain. And that's really one of the primary breakdowns where we have with communication, where this person doesn't want to see that the other person doesn't communicate that way. So when you first get to know yourself, how you operate, and then step into the shoes of the other person, what it enables you to do then is come to the table with a very humble heart and know that in order for true communication, okay, not just the action of speaking or texting or typing or writing or whatever, true communication is like an infinity sign. One comes out and the other one comes back, that it allows for true communication to actually happen, because number one, you're practicing active listening because you're listening how the other person actually communicates, if that makes sense. And then you're able to respond in a fashion which they also understand. Does that make sense? So this is like a huge topic. It's one of my absolute favorites. I was kind of afraid to bring it up, but I thought, why not we just get it out on the table? All right. Hope that that's helpful to you. This is Hump Day Wednesday, isn't it? All right. Have a good one.